Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Saturn Slam Review. Jeez, feels like we just did this.
I know, but we're wearing different shirts, so it doesn't count.
It is a unquantifiable time jump.
In the white void that I live in.
Yeah, that
Hey,
we always do it like you can't tell what season it is because my blinds are always closed. That poster never moves.
I'm broadcasting from the room next door to Champa's old temper tantrum room
The
in hell.
Comcast Customer Service Center located in hell.
Yeah,
Um,
real
the only thing
convenient
that's
too.
changed in like a year and a half of doing this show is my headphones are different now.
Yeah, and I don't even know if my headphones are different or if I've just been rocking these the whole time we've been live.
Well, you got them for
Um,
Christmas last year, so
that's true.
there must have been a time where they weren't there.
The before time.
All right, but anyway, none of that shit matters. We have
No.
wrestling to talk about. Um, NXT versus AEW, a show where once again the ratings puzzled me.
Yes.
Um, AEW won big in the ratings. They, but interesting to note, they did stay the same. They got 965 again, and NXT shot up to, I think, 715,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Yeah.
721.
721.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is interesting. Um, that means that 200 something thousand, 180 something thousand wrestling fans did not watch last week. That normally watch NXT and did not watch AEW. So I don't know what that says for AEW's like audience loyalty. I mean, I guess it's the same. So there's that going
That's
for it.
makes sense.
Um,
Um,
18 to 49 was very low for NXT this week, and I don't know why.
well, as the criticism continues, or the easy burn is that NXT is an old person show for some reason.
It's because WWE's audience skews older, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Everyone I know who
AEW
watches
pulls that
NXT
viral
is
marketing.
yeah, but like look at who's all up and down AEW show. Old guys from Memphis
Yeah,
and
that's
old WCW guys. Like
it's because
their
all the
world
actual old
champion is
people
50
watching.
years old.
Yeah. It's because all the actual old champions are like, I already saw him. That's fine. I'm gonna do something else. I feel like the context in which I hear in real life about AEW, people don't talk about NXT in real life, which I'm sad about. But they're like, oh, I don't watch wrestling, but I saw that new Dynamite show. That was the thing, and they're like, they don't have any strong opinion about wrestling anyhow, and they're just like, it's wrestling, and they literally advertise to me, so I guess I'll watch it. It's
I
on
will say
TNT.
this about my loans. This is a sample size of one, and she is dating me, so there's a chance that her interests skew more towards mine. But my very casual wrestling fan girlfriend, her interest is not held by AEW. She will not watch AEW with me. She'll be on her phone almost the entire time. She will watch NXT.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Um,
For
this
whatever
week
that's worth.
being well, we can investigate possibly why this week as we can start with AEW.
So
Um,
AEW on the whole, like the macro of AEW, was pretty good this week. I gotta say, I don't have too much. Like, I don't have numerous things to complain about. But the things that I do have to complain about, I will complain a whole hell of a lot about because they were really fucking bad and they colored my opinion of the show negatively.
yes. Um, in particular, I thought that it started off very poorly. IMO, and it got better in terms of just raw match quality over the night.
You did not
Um,
like the Hangman Page Kenny Omega private party match?
no, I felt that Private Party was a little loose. The Cassidy, I like Cassidy. I think I just didn't like who's the other guy who's not Cassidy.
Um, there's two other guys. Oh, like Marco Stunt or
No, no, no,
on
no. There's
Cassidy's
on
team.
yeah on Cassidy's team.
So there's
Because
Chuck
there's
Taylor and Trent.
that's best friends.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about Private Party.
Oh shit. Yeah. There's a Cassidy on Private Party too. I got confused by
Uh
that. Isaiah
uh
Cassidy and Mark Quinn.
okay. I like Quinn. Cassidy, I did not like that match. I did not like I did not like in this match. He was selling weird. He was doing his moves weird. I don't
Yeah.
like it.
I mean, I don't. It wasn't their best match, to be sure, but I didn't think it was terrible. I thought,
Kenny Omega, he was doing fine. I'm like, this is what I want Kenny
yeah,
Omega to be doing. That's what I want Hangman Page to be doing.
I continue to become more and more of a fan of Hangman Page each and every time I see him work, and I think he cuts a very strong promo. I think he's a very concise guy. I like his attitude and his promo style. I think he needs more mic time because he's the also ran of the elite right now, and I think he deserves better, quite frankly. And he's gonna get his shot because they're clearly building to a heel turn, with him turning on Kenny Omega. This did not really advance that at all, though.
Right. It was.
It's I thought the match was fine, but my one gripe with it is the story it advanced was Pac versus Kenny Omega, and I've seen that match twice now, and I don't need to see it again. It wasn't that great the first two times.
Right. They're not shooting for this to be like a year-long super feud. Doesn't seem like to me they're not building it that way.
See, the thing about it is that I hear this a lot, and I hear it from, like the Young Bucks on Twitter. I see their tweets posted, and they're like, we're building long stories. Sometimes you're going to have to wade through some stuff that isn't that great to get to the payoff. That's all well and good. I don't have a problem with a slow building or slow burning story, but you can't have, number one, you can't have all your stories be like that. There needs to be a reason to watch week to week. And number two, you need to have progression each week. Like, you can say we're doing a slow burn, but you have to advance the story little by little. A great example of NXT doing a long-term story was the whole Gargano Ciampa saga. Now, some of the reason why it took so long is because there were various injuries thrown in there. But even when Ciampa came back and they had their feud for the title that extended to, like, Johnny teasing a heel turn and winning the North American Championship and then teaming up again, right up until Ciampa got hurt again before TakeOver New York. That was like a 7-8 month feud where there were twists and turns in the story. It advanced each week, and unfortunately we never got the payoff, but, well, we got a payoff when Johnny, like, turned on him again in the Dusty Classic, but that was a long-term story that was still engaging week to week.
Great. Long-term booking does not mean you can have more content that way. You can have more densely packed content that way. If it's not going to be that much content week to week, then it should be a back burner sort of affair. What we're trying to get at is that they're not really doing that. They're just sort of like, next week, tune in next week.
Yeah, this is going to happen next week. And, like, this was a reboot. This, like, angle post-match here was, like, the exact same thing they did 2 weeks ago, only this time Pac actually, attacked this Michael Nakazawa fellow, who I'm still not quite sure why I care about.
It's AEW has a few running themes, and one of them is bald men facing away from the camera.
Yeah, like I mean, it's pretty much the exact same angle. You know, Kenny ran off to the back, and then Adam Page during commercial drank beer with the audience, and there was no further mention of what happened with Omega and Pac. Like you can do something like that, but like come back to it during the show.
You're actually very right. That seems conspicuous in its absence. That he wasn't like Kenny's not like storming through the backstage for a while. They don't do. I feel like I haven't seen a lot of those
They
where
never have an angle. They never shoot an angle. They don't do show long angles. They shoot an angle on the show. It lasts however long it lasts, and then no progress on it is made until the next week. Very seldom you'll have a promo that sets up a match later, but that's not often. Even that, which isn't the same as like having an angle that develops over the course of the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that you make a very good point there.
Which, you know, when Raw was super hot back in the 90s, the show was usually built around a show-long angle involving the biggest star in the company, Stone Cold Steve Austin, which made people interested to see what was going to happen with that angle, so they didn't flip the channel over to Nitro. Now, AEW is winning the ratings, so I don't know. Clearly, my opinion is a minority opinion, and, you know, my advice for them to improve their show to, like, win the ratings war is justifiably will fall on deaf ears because they're winning the ratings war.
Although, I have read the occasional thread or two. These are also internal criticisms. Not, I guess, not internal criticisms, but among the fans to the show. They're like, please, AEW, this is one of the things they want the show to improve on, as much as we do. Is that to make the results more immediate and cut out the sawdust in my Taco Bell, so to speak.
We do not need this high a dose of Burger King foot lettuce.
Yes.
So they went to commercial. Hangman Page drank beer with the fans. That's all well and good. Then Brandy Rhodes came out to join the commentary team. I groaned, but it got so much worse than I ever thought it would get.
This match, for many reasons, was my least favorite match on AEW this week.
This match was on its way to being pretty good. However, it was marred. Like, it was so hard to pay attention to the match because Brandy Rhodes is on commentary. And Brandy Rhodes is a lovely girl. I've heard her in outside media appearances. She seems like your fun aunt. I'm sure she's a wonderful, nice person, a caring wife, etc., etc. But she has no place on television in her current role. And really, the only role that's ever made sense for her was Cody's valet, because this gimmick, this Nightmare Collective, is just dying 1,000 deaths, and her on commentary was the dirt worse, because the first thing she does is bury the women's champion and the number one contender.
Oh yeah, this whole match, just, why do I care about the championship now? Why do I care about the story that was going on with Chris Statlander going to the top? They bury it in the commentary. They bury it after the finish. When you're when the angle is that your champion is also disappointed that they won, you might want to, you gotta separate things a little bit here. Yeah, this match, I like Chris Statlander. I think she's great. I think Riho she worked okay. I feel like when I was watching though, she's like a little bit of a wet noodle. Just like,
I don't.
Her work wasn't stiff.
Her punches are the worst. Like, Riho's punches are the least believable punches I've ever seen, and I spent a decade watching John Cena matches, so that's saying something.
She did like a 619, and she just sort of she got there and she kind of stopped, and it's like a kid when they're hanging sideways on like a playground pole and they start to like slowly drift back the other way.
Yeah, and like on the finish. So first up, this segment was a failure on so many levels. You have Brandy Rhodes
Also,
on commentary, burying the talent and burying Excalibur for some reason.
yeah, weird. You have Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida looking just just the least interested in the front row here.
Yeah,
Britt Baker, the still is she still the person that's like the heart of the women's division on
I
AEW? Is she still our sweetheart? Because it really doesn't feel
I'm
like it in
pretty
this
sure they're
match.
turning her heel. Um,
That has to be.
because I mean, she got in Riho's face after the match last week, and then she didn't come to help this week.
Okay,
Um, so I mean, they're laying the
I'll take it.
groundwork for that. That
Fair enough.
actually was the only story advancement that worked in this whole segment. That was the one thing that worked in this entire segment. You have Awesome Kong and Mel Cruz come down to ringside during a double
Mhm.
down, and then they openly interfere in the match. This does not lead to a disqualification.
No, because the refs on this show they had brain aneurysms.
The
Like,
AEW refs look like the most incompetent and impotent people I have ever seen. A perfect counter example to this was in the women's six man that opened up NXT, where Bianca Belair tried to enter without a tag and she was immediately stopped by the referee and forced out of the ring. Meanwhile, fucking these two clowns come in and interfere openly, leading to the finish, by the way. You know what the finish of this match was? Awesome
what was
Kong
the
hit a
finish?
double leg takedown, and then Riho did a matchbook cover on Chris Statlander for the win. That's the worst way you could have ended Chris Statlander's little streak she had going there, number one. Number two, the execution of this was terrible because Riho waited like a half second to make the cover. So I thought, being a man of taste, thought that she was going to be a fighting babyface champion and not take the pin off of the interference that she so clearly saw because Chris
Right.
Statlander was standing up. I don't think she just spontaneously fell over.
No, that's not how that usually goes. Um, yeah, but she does take it, and then she's like, "I didn't like that, even though I took it."
Yeah, like the
Oh,
babyface champion should like just not cover her. That's all you had to do is let her get back up to her feet. And the fact that Chris Statlander gets pinned off of what essentially she got pinned off of a double leg takedown,
it's so bad. And then,
and it gets
uh,
worse. It gets worse. It gets so much worse.
because that wasn't the capstone to this segment. That was not the point of this segment. The point was to reveal the other bald men who wasn't going to face the camera. Um, and they did it in perhaps like just a less of a theatrical reveal and more of a security cam at the local bodega sort of reveal. He just sort of comes out from underneath the ring. And guys, it's Luther. Don't you know? It's Luther.
I mean, apparently he's a name. He's been on the independent scene for a long time. He's done a lot of Japanese death matches. But I, as an American wrestling fan, have no idea who the fuck he is and wonder why exactly Excalibur also, once again, knows exactly who he is. He was shown in one backstage promo. They did reference it, so kudos to them for following up on that. But this execution was terrible. Brandy Rhodes comes down off of commentary, and when the Nightmare Collective first came down, Excalibur's like, "Why are they coming down?" And Brandy's like, "Well, how should I know?" And like, Brandy Rose is 10 times worse than Stephanie McMahon. Like, I owe Stephanie McMahon an apology. I would watch 1,000 hours of Stephanie McMahon before I watched 10 of Brandy Rhodes, at least with this character. Just
Mm.
channel changing heat. I watched this after the fact, but had I been watching AEW, this would have been a flip to NXT and never come back. So I'm shocked that they won the ratings war with this segment in here.
Yeah, I again this was another one of the things that internal fan criticism was. They're like, this is a bad group. That was a bad segment. This is a bad ankle. Change these things, please, AEW.
Yeah. So Luther comes out from under the ring. You can't have man-on-woman violence, so he just holds her wrist until Mel, I think her name is, Mel Cruz,
Yeah.
checks notes, Mel Cruz, clotheslines her, and then the Nightmare Collective stands tall again. Is this going anywhere? Well, actually, no. They got run off by an interfering Hikaru Shida, and then Big Swole and Sonny Kiss ran down to also defend.
Right. Yes, they come in, and I'm promptly reminded that I haven't seen Big Swole in a fair number of weeks.
Has she been on Dynamite ever?
I think so.
I can't remember her being on Dynamite.
I bet she's on the YouTube.
I know she's been on Dark, but I don't believe, I can't recall her being on Dynamite, but I am not a huge fan of hers, so it's entirely possible and believable that she had a match, and I just didn't see it.
Yeah. Again, YouTube AEW is like the Star Wars novelizations. There might be some good quality content on there, but you're not getting to the general audience with that shit.
No. This was a mess of a segment, and they followed it up with another shitty segment with Sammy Guevara and Chris Daniels. This match was nothing special. They didn't get a lot of time, and Daniels went for the Angels ring. Guevara blocked it, hit a running knee. Standing shooting star for a 2 count, backslide by Daniels for a 2 count, simultaneous lariats. He teased a BME, but then Pentagon Jr. of all people. I mean, I guess they were shooting for a little bit, but never went anywhere. He comes out and he says, "Do it, show me you can do it." And then Chris Daniels is distracted by this. Sammy Guevara hits a weak fucking kick to the head and pins Christopher Daniels off of this. Pentagon fucks off because he's got a match next. And
that's so fucking absurd. Oh God, I don't know. That just
he politely cedes the stage to the Dark Order.
It replays in my head like some fucking weird offbeat segment on Adult Swim. Like he just I could just see him walking on the stage. Do it, and he Christopher Dan just stands around like, I don't know what I'm doing.
This does feel oftentimes like surrealist wrestling.
I don't, which would be interesting if they somehow leaned into that. Here's the surrealist show, guys.
I don't know if you're gonna build much of an audience leading into that.
Probably not. And yet the Dark Order comes in for their segment.
They come down. Evil Uno cuts a promo. No mention of the Exalted One this week. But he tries to get Chris Daniels to join. Offers him a mask. Chris Daniels looks like he's about to accept. And then he swerves everyone by not accepting the outcome that everyone expected. They beat him down until SCU and the Young Bucks come out. They beat up the Dark Order. They clear house. And Chris Daniels just hits the BME on Dark Order Jobber X. And fucking any angle they were trying to build with that, instantly dead. This is not what I mean by shorter-term payoffs or angles, AEW. Yeah, same segment is too short-term.
They make the same mistake, I think, at the end during the big finisher segment.
I actually like that segment.
The segment was great. I just think I would have liked them to stretch that out a little longer.
Oh yes, I do agree that. I mean, I've talked about it on the week. I thought that they should have had Moxley try to destroy the group from within, but that being said, I thought that segment was excellent and was a highlight of the show for me. Probably my favorite thing on the show, to be perfectly honest with you.
It was great. I also think, just like you said, Christopher Daniels hitting the move. I just imagine Pentagon Jr. like, what? I didn't see it.
I had a match. I don't know why I came out here, before my match. This is something that AEW does where they just have guys come out in a lot of segments. WCW used to do this too. But WCW went out of business, so maybe you don't want to copy what they do too much.
Don't hit the big red button that says load random asset. It just plucks a wrestler from the locker room and just spawns them on the stage.
Like when a heel is beating down a babyface, fine, have some babyfaces run out for the save. That makes sense. Babyfaces can have friends. But don't have the same babyfaces run out over and over and over again.
I noticed that too. Young Bucks are like the resident. We're coming. We're gonna come out to the stage.
Sometimes
and
multiple times on the same show. Like Cody comes out for a promo, and then the Dark Order are beating up the Elite, and he runs out to make a save. But first he has to turn the lights out because he fucking, I guess, gets off on that. And then he runs out and makes the save. So he appears twice on the show, but like here, he can't appear twice on the show because that would advance an angle, and we can't have that.
No. No.
But he did make an appearance on the show. We had the Brothers Rhodes with Arn Anderson taking on the Lucha Bros. They win. This match was fine, but the Lucha Bros have like no credibility now because they have 0 wins that matter.
Yeah, this is rough.
They pointed out that this was only Cody and Dustin's second time teaming. And
oh, God.
I
missed that little tidbit.
They try to tell us that the Lucha Bros are arguably the best tag team in the world, but they lose an awful lot. And to lose to a team that has only, it's their second time tagging, doesn't help matters. I know you might be saying, but Kurt, they can't beat Cody. He's got to be strong. All right, if you can't beat Cody and the Lucha Bros need wins, don't book the fucking match.
We learned this at Hell in a Cell. And also, yes, Cody can lose.
He doesn't even have to take the losing pin. You can pin Dustin. Dustin's got nothing going on right now.
There are so many layers to this is a fine thing to, like, you can let him be pinned because, like we said, they've only teamed twice. And it doesn't affect his singles record. Those are correlated, but both very important points.
Yeah, like I said, the match was pretty good. I enjoyed the match. I thought the wrestling in the match was fine. I thought the booking was bad.
Yes.
Jobber teams. Use jobber teams. Like you have this ranking system. Like have it mean something. Have the Lucha Bros being the number 3 ranked team mean something and not be like, oh, yeah, they're ranked 3 of 5. Of the 5 teams we have, they're ranked number 3.
That's like when Alfred came in 3rd at that fucking tech competition because there were only 5 of them and they were all like army people.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Tony Schiavone came down to interview Cody. Arn Anderson interrupted and asked if MJF became God and no one told him about it. Said he doesn't have any right to make these ridiculous demands, but they're going to think about it and they'll get back to you later because we must wait a week for Cody to cut a promo to advance the story. Instantly afterward, well, actually, there was an interview with Lanny Poffo. Alex Marvez interviewed Lanny Poffo. Put over the Memphis Legends in AEW in general, looking for a job. And then instantly after this Cody segment, out comes MJF. And he calls out Cody. And Cody doesn't come out. And they're like, I don't think Cody's here. It's like he was on TV 10 minutes ago.
He was out. He left.
And worse than that, at the end of this segment, Dustin comes back out. You're telling me they went to the back and Cody's like, peace, dog. I'm going to leave the show that I'm an executive vice president of. But you, regular contracted talent, you stay here.
Oh, my God. Like, no, it's... This reminds me of when they made their entrance against the Lucha Brothers. I fucking laughed out loud when I saw the entrance because Lucha Brothers come in, right? And then Dustin Rhodes comes in. He walks in through the regular opening. and then Cody's fucking elevator of glory hits, and he comes up with Arn Anderson. I just imagine the backstage like talk. They're like, Cody, can I come up the elevator with you? He's like, no. There's only room for 2 people on there. I'm taking Arn up. Like, but I'm in the match. It's like, no, I get that, but he's like really important to the story, the angle. It's like
he's the head coach.
Yeah, he's the head coach.
But we're the ones who are wrestling together. The manager can walk behind the wrestlers. No, I understand what you're saying, Dustin, and I understand that you've been in the business longer than I've been alive. But trust me,
I gotta take it with him. You can
take it
like the ramp is still fine. Like you can even come out first if you want. Just like he's like, I don't want to fucking ride him the elevator with him.
He doesn't put on enough deodorant and
this fucking.
You gotta be down there for like 5 minutes before it lifts up.
All I'm saying is I'm doing this match and then I'm going to the airport bar. Okay.
I mean, Arn's got bad knees. He can't take the stairs. We gotta take the elevator. Anyway,
oh my god.
DDP comes out and he plugs his shit, gets his shit in.
Yeah.
Which I saw people complaining about it. I found it hilarious.
Yeah. He's got the no fucks given pass at this point.
It's part of his gimmick at this point, really. And I find it he does it in a humorous way. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna address what you said, but first, DDP yoga. And
the crowd fucking pops for it.
Yeah, the crowd loves DDP. He got a yoga chant going. I never in a million years thought in the 20s that there would be a yoga chant. But here we are, 2020, yoga chants. So he said that if you had told him 19 years ago that he'd be in the ring live on TNT, he said you would have smoking crack. For those of you who are young, 19 years ago, Nitro aired its final episode on TNT. So the implication being that he never thought there'd be wrestling on TNT again. He makes fun of Maxwell Jacob Friedman. What do you call him? Something Jackoff Friedman? Major Jackoff Friedman?
Yeah, something like that. Shit, I can't remember. It was a good burn.
It was a good line. And he called Wardlow Ward Blow.
Ward Blow.
And he said everyone's wondered if he's going to come back for one more match. And crowd got excited about that prospect. Hell, I got excited about that prospect.
Yeah.
And then MJF's like, oh, even in your prime, you couldn't lace my boots. Now, if you're arthritic hands, you can't even hold my jock. And DDP's like, oh, really? He steps to him. MJF backs off, but interesting to note, Wardlow did not get between him and DDP.
Yeah.
Which I found odd for the bodyguard not to do.
Secret scared. I mean, as the problems with whatever the segment, whatever problems with the segment, MJF is great. Yeah.
I thought MJF was great. I thought DDP was great. They corrected the error of last time with the Diamond Ring, where diamond cutters were delivered. We got two of them. The Butcher, Blade, and Bunny came out, and everyone's like, oh, 60-year-old DDP beat up the 2 people by himself. He hit his finishing move on both of them, and it's not like one was a reversal. He was going to get suplexed, but he reversed it because he's a cagey veteran. Yep. And then the other one was he took the guy by surprise. He got the jump on him because he was charging him. And when you charge someone, you leave yourself exposed for attacks. I have zero problem with DDP hitting 2 diamond cutters and then getting beat down. People forget he got beat down at the end of this, and he had his old friends come out to save him. And now we're going to have old guys versus slightly less old guys next week on Dynamite.
Yeah, to your point, what would you rather have? Would you rather have the guy who just tried to cut a promo on MJF and look intimidating him just turn out to be a windbag who gets no offense in?
Yeah. You're gonna.
What were you thinking? You didn't think that one through, fans.
We've already learned by the fact that they lost their first match that the Butcher, Blade, and Bunny combo is not meant to be like a superimposing force. They're the J&J security of MJF's little faction he's got going here.
Because we got another faction.
We have another fact. I don't
None of
dislike.
which are the only face faction is the Elite.
Yeah, and like even that is like a loose alliance at best.
Yes.
So yeah, the Dustin ran down. QT Marshall
Limped
ran
down.
down. Yeah, he was selling his leg because he's a pro, and you know
Right.
the only people who sell shit on this show are the old guys.
My God.
I thought this was a good angle. I know a lot of people disagree, but I liked it, and it was. I don't know what to tell you other than
fine. It's fine, guys.
we had Jurassic
Just like this
Express
next match
versus the Best Friends in Orange Cassidy. We had Orange Cassidy do some moves in this match. He wrestled a little bit. It was cool.
It was cool.
Crowd got into it big. And, this match was fine. It wasn't anything particularly exciting. Marco's stunt, I don't think he should be wrestling.
He was a little bit like, he had like Hornswoggle energy this match.
Yeah, he slapped himself. Like, granted,
he's like, I'm the small wrestler this match.
Yeah.
Pay attention to me.
When he charges a guy, they just like pick him up and throw him down. Like, that's fine. Like, that's about how it should be handled. But like, I don't know. This match was fine. It wasn't particularly exciting. Jungle Boy reversed the powerbomb into a victory roll for the pin, and he looked shocked that he won. I guess it was his first
he's
win
like,
in AEW.
Like 3? Like, it actually
three?
happened.
Really? I did it? It's like, yeah. You should be, capable of winning. You should feel that about yourself.
I do like the Jurassic Express in general. I think they're my personal favorite team on the tag team roster.
I like the Luchasaurus. I'm sorry. I love the Luchasaurus.
Yes.
I like Jungle Boy. Marco Stunt, I'm neutral on.
It's interesting because he just sort of he agglomerated into the team.
Yeah. But the
because
problem
of that
with the Lucha or Jurassic Express is that they just don't get tag team matches like this. They've had so few matches on television. I know Luchasaurus was hurt for a little bit, but you can make up for last time. Have them like mix it up. We see a lot of the same tag teams each week. Rotate them out. Have Luchasaurus pick up Jurassic Express pick up some wins here and there.
Yeah, and like on the other end, it's Best Friends in Orange Cassidy again. Here they come again.
Yeah,
I've seen them. I feel like I've seen them an awful lot.
They're on TV almost every week.
Yeah, especially Trent.
Yeah,
because he has a weird, like, I guess it's not weird. It's weird to me that he has like a solo thing going on. Like
of all the people in that tag team division that you can have like wrestle singles matches, and not just singles matches against like big stars like Jon Moxley. Why Trent?
Yeah.
Why not Pentagon or Phoenix?
Yes, exactly. Because you can do it. You can definitely do it. My prime example is Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, who are like, we wrestle together, but we also wrestle apart. We're wrestling Voltron.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with Trent. I think Trent's a good hand. I just don't. You have a lot of other wrestlers who are very accomplished singles stars outside of AEW that don't get singles matches very often on the show. That I think Trent, who really I think is best suited as a tag team guy, really shouldn't be in that spot over them.
Yeah.
They announced Pac versus Darby Allin for next week, which should be pretty good. As well as Statlander and Cheetah versus Awesome Kong and Mel.
That's where we're at.
And then we had the official announcement of Butcher Blade, MJ and MJF versus QT Marshall, Dustin Rhodes, and DDP. So DDP gets another match in there. I suspect that the face team will win after Cody Rhodes interfering and officially accepting stipulations for the match. Chris Jericho, Santana Ortiz versus Jurassic Express was announced for Dynamite in 2 weeks. This is a match where it's like a bridge too far because you have the Inner Circle, your top heel faction, wrestling a trios match against the Jurassic Express. Which, if this were a tag team match between Santana Ortiz and Jurassic Express, fine. But
yes,
since it's a trios match, and the third is the AEW champion on one side, and the third on the other side is Marco Stunt, doesn't work as well for me.
Yeah. Now, again, even if you wanted to do a trios match, there's an option. You didn't lay the foundation for it. You could have done it, but you didn't. Is to have Jake Hager have it requires Jake Hager to be in at least one match before this, so we verify that yes, he can in fact wrestle. And then you could have him and Luchasaurus be the Hosses, and they could do Hoss fighting. And then you have Santana Ortiz, and then on the other side you have Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy. And there's your fucking trio match if you want it.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, Chris Jericho should not be. This is beneath him. He has bigger fish to fry. Like this this segment, the results of this.
This segment was great. Jericho, Guevara, and Hager came down for the main event angle. They had the bubbly, the table out there, the carpet laid out. They called down Jon Moxley. He came out wearing a jacket. So like you knew what was going to happen when he took that jacket off. So he's like, Jericho introduced him as his friend, his protege. Moxley came down and said, "You think you might know what I want, but you don't. I came to AEW to dominate, and that's why to your offer I say yes." And he takes off the jacket. He's wearing an Inner Circle t-shirt.
Mild shock.
And they all celebrate. Like the crowd actually bought into it. They went silent. They were stunned. So they're celebrating. They're having the bubbly. They're cutting promos. He's like, they're playing music, and Moxley's like, hey, you owe me something else. And Jericho's shaking up the champagne like he's going to give a champagne bath. And Moxley's like, no, keys. And so they give him the keys to the 4GT, and like they're laughing, they're having a good time. And Moxley grabs an. It's
like this is the very end of the show.
Yeah.
Like we think this is almost like if this was NXT, the title card would be in the corner at this point.
Yeah, he grabs the unopened bottle of champagne that isn't the little bit of the bubbly brand, and he's like, "Oh, Chris, one more thing. I have to tell you. I'm just joking. I don't want to be in the Inner Circle. No, it's a stupid group, and you don't have anything that I want except for that." And then he smashes the champagne bottle over Jericho's head, gives him the paradigm shift. Sammy runs in, gives him the paradigm shift. Jake Hager runs in, and Moxley bails off because he is trying to make Jake Hager look like, a respectable heavy, unlike Wardlow.
Hey, because Jon Moxley's a fucking professional.
Yeah, and he runs in the crowd, teases him with the keys, makes fun of him, and that's... I wish this could have, dragged out for a couple more weeks, but I thought
wanted corporate Moxley.
I thought the execution was great, and hey, what do you know? A talking segment got over with two of your best talkers. Maybe, give more people a chance to talk.
Amazing.
So that was AEW Dynamite. We talked a lot about that. I don't have as much to say about NXT because it was just a solid show. So like I don't have a lot to complain. They had their flex where they had like look at all these women come out. The big news here is that Toni Storm wants to challenge for the NXT championship. I thought this was actually an effective promo. She's like, "Great job, Rhea, winning the NXT Women's Championship. But remember that time when I beat you? Remember that time where I beat you again?" And she said she's going to win the NXT UK Women's Championship, which actually there's a takeover on Saturday.
We will maybe be. I don't know if we'll be watching that. We'll probably come to you with that.
Yeah, we'll get it up. We did
especially
the last one.
Yeah, and we're not doing big roster pay-per-views now, so
yeah, I mean
perfect time to fill.
We got Wrestle Kingdom on the docket too, but
that's also
I mean we'll get it all in. We will get it all in. So yeah, that then a lot of people came out, faces, heels. It led to a 6-woman with Rhea, Tony, and Candice against Kaylee Ray, Io Shirai, and Bianca Belair. Faces won, and we moved on from there. There was a vignette for Tommaso Ciampa, first of several that aired on this night, painting him as an impending challenger to Adam Cole. So I guess they're not going to hold off until WrestleMania weekend for the Adam Cole Tommaso Ciampa match, which makes me wonder who his opponent's going to be at WrestleMania. Because I mean, obviously you think Ciampa's going to end up with the belt eventually, but I don't think Adam Cole should drop it before the WrestleMania weekend takeover.
Yeah, that seems a little ill-advised. I don't know. Maybe they'll. No, I don't want to say it out loud. That seems wrong to even mention it.
Yeah, we'll see what they do.
Yeah, they'll do something. They always do.
Keith Lee was the first in a series of backstage promos of the participants in the main event, vowing to become North American champion. Then we had a Dusty Tag Team Classic match. Imperium versus the Forgotten Son. Steve Cutler cut his hair after he spent so long growing it out. It's kind of sad.
He got it there and it's gone. They all got white jackets on now, which I thought was like they're ready. They gave them new outfits. They're gonna go a little farther this time. Maybe they'll be the surprise underdogs for this tournament.
Nope. They lost in the first round. This match was actually pretty good. Eichner started the match with a nose protector, but it got ripped off somewhere in the middle here. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming his nose is actually okay.
Yeah.
They won with there was a parade of high spots, and then Imperium got the win. Kathy Kelly interviewed Matt Riddle, asked him about how his tag team with Pete Dunne came about. Matt Riddle answered as only Matt Riddle can. I will not even attempt to replicate it.
No.
Just go watch this segment and you'll know what I mean.
Austin Theory.
Yep. Making his second straight appearance, defeating Joaquin Wilde. He was understanding the concept of love.
The whole fucking the setup that he came out to. Quite the statement. With his alien biker helmet.
Yeah. Austin Theory won with a TKO. They put him over strong.
Yep. They're building a match because Worlds Collide is coming up, and I think. Well, does Evolve Talent get on there?
I think Theory's just NXT now. I think he finished up.
Oh, it's just NXT.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I think he's just in the fold now.
Hooray!
Undisputed Era. Actually, no, we had a Damian Priest, his segment. He vowed to win the title with his ladies.
With his nipple show.
His nipple holes, yeah.
It's just the one. Apparently, it was just the one. That's so weird.
They just get so hard. They just rub the fabric loose.
It makes me think of the fucking South Park where the cable companies are like, oh, we're so sorry.
Undisputed Era faced Gallus in a champion versus champion match. I will never say an ill word about my boy Wolfgang, but Mark Coffey is not on the same level as my boy Wolfgang. And as a result, I had trouble getting into this match as much as I should have.
Yeah, this doesn't stand out a huge much in my mind as I look back upon it.
This wasn't like you have champion versus champion in the first round of the Dusty Classic, which is a little weird, but they said, oh, this is like a dream match. And like I've never been particularly impressed with Gallus as a whole. Joe Coffey's fine. My lasting memory of Joe Coffey is that way too long match he had against Pete Dunne at the first TakeOver Blackpool.
Oh, yeah.
And when he was on the Indies and he'd come out with just like a Iron Man mask that you would buy at Toys R Us. And Mark Coffey, he's fine, but he's not like particularly special. I love Wolfgang.
Wolfgang always.
This match was all right, but it was not, like I said, not what I expect. It was not the dream match that the announcers tried to make it out to be.
Right.
Undisputed Era won after interference from Adam Cole and Roderick Strong on the outside.
So perhaps better that it was a first round match.
Yes.
In that case,
As it is written, so it is done.
Yeah. Speaking of Dusty Rhodes news, Kushida announced his partner.
And it was a surprise to be sure. We had floated names such as Austin Theory or Cameron Grimes for the odd couple pairing. But Alex Shelley is going to make his NXT debut. The former Impact star, I guess, is either now under contract or just going to be working some dates here in NXT.
Yeah, and this is the magic of Dusty Rhodes Classic. Every year they pull out like something where I'm just like, whoa, they actually did it.
And if you remember, way back, I think 2015, there was a little team of two independent at the time wrestlers in the Dusty Classic. I think their names were Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano.
And
I
think that rings a bell.
I seem to recall them going on to do pretty good things in the company. Can't be sure though.
I saw like a comment somewhere on the internet, like they're like, "Is the Dusty Rhodes Classic like a prestigious championship?" I'm like, "Very yes. This is one of the fountains of quality that spew forth from NXT."
It seemed like a random thing the first time they did it, because they're like, "Oh, Dusty Rhodes passed away. Let's do something in his honor." And a tag team tournament kind of seemed like a weird thing. But I guess Dusty loved his tag teams, even though he was never really in a tag team too often. But
that's fine.
It's fine, and like the quality of matches has always been excellent. The winners have been big time. The first winners were Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, and then you had, I think the Revival may have won it. You had the Undisputed Era have won it. It's been. And the tournaments have always been good. So, yes, I would say it's fairly prestigious. It's something I look forward to.
I like... This is something I feel weird that I have to say about NXT in relation to the other programs, but, like, NXT has shows that I, like, genuinely look forward to each year. I'm like, Mae Young Classic. I want to see some... Like, that gets me more hyped about the women's division than that fucking all-women's Evolve or whatever it was. Not Evolve. Evolution. I just like Mae Young Classic. Let's go watch like 5 days of women's matches. The fucking Dusty Rhodes Classic, War Games. Those are things where I'm like, it's that time of year again.
And just week to week, like they'll like advertise a match. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be good. I can't wait for that. Like that hasn't happened to me in wrestling in a long time. Speaking of Johnny Gargano and the Dusty Rhodes Classic, he came out and he cut his first promo since returning, and it was a heck of a promo. He said that Finn Balor was jealous because NXT didn't need him. He took what Finn Balor built and he put it in a rocket ship and he shot it into fucking outer space.
To the freaking outer space. He really wanted to say.
He really wanted to say fucking outer space, but he had to rein it in.
Discipline on the man.
Yeah. Balor came out and to defend himself against these quite valid accusations by Johnny Gargano. My favorite line though is that, you got that call to move on and you couldn't wait to get out of here. I got that same call in August. Difference is I'm still here, because when I say I love this place, I really mean it. I'm like, this is why Johnny Gargano can never turn heel. He's too good a babyface, and that's too rare. He's too babyface, can't turn heel.
Yeah.
And then they set up their match for Takeover Portland, and Balor added, "If you make it that far." Cameron Grimes ranted like a lunatic in his promo.
Cameron Grimes, he's
growing over. He's really winning me over. I owe an apology to the man. Granted, I stand by my opinion at the time. He hadn't shown me anything.
Yeah,
now he's showing me stuff.
At this point, I fully expect this is how this happens with any new talent. Whenever I see it now, I'm like, how many times has this happened to us? We're like, these guys don't look good, and then 6 months later, I'm like, Oh,
Marcel Bartel was the same way. When Marcel Bartel first showed up on NXT, like he had a pretty good match. Like if you go back and watch it, it's an objectively good wrestling match. But he was just like this milk toast, nothing happening, like nothing really distinct about him guy. And I'm like, who the fuck is this Marcel Bartel guy, and why should I care about him? And now he's part of a very entertaining faction.
yeah,
Um, so the Time Splitters reunite next week as they face the Grizzled Young Vets on NXT. Mia
lovely.
Yim beat Caden Carter in a match that really had no reason to happen other than setting up a angle. Chelsea Green attacked
Yep.
Mia Yim after the match. Chelsea Green, fresh off a loss to Charlotte on Raw, just randomly had a jobber match on Raw to Charlotte.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
and then Robert Stone appeared to say that Green was his first signee of the Robert Stone brand. I don't know who Robert Stone is, but in my
I feel
notes
like
here from
other people.
F4W,
Yeah.
it says, I guess this will be an updated version of the Stud Stable, which I guess was a thing he was involved in before. I don't know
Sure,
anything
man.
about that. But
He looks
hey,
like a sleazy '70s records company man. That's all I need to see.
yeah, hey, I'm all for factions. I like a good faction as much as the
Hmm.
next guy, as long as the factions are doing shit that's meaningful.
Yeah.
Then we had the main event. I love this match. I thought this
What a
match was
great
really
match.
good. I love all four of the guys in this match. My favorite part is when they cleared out Damian Priest and Cameron Grimes, and then Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic are like, "All right, let's do this." And then they did their thing. They traded their spots, their freakish athleticism, and like Dijakovic ducked the like back heel kick from Lee, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this close, you're good."
My old friend, we meet again on the field of battle.
And then everyone like hit dives and crazy shit, and a whole
Okay.
bunch of big moves are coming out. Dominic Dijakovic's flying all over the place. Keith Lee's hitting motherfuckers with other motherfuckers.
Cameron Grimes. I liked his little story in this where he's like, I'm not quite ready to be here, but I'm gonna fucking try my ass off.
I'm gonna. It reminded me a little bit of another Fatal 4-Way match where it was for the WWE title. It was Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose was added to the match like a week before the pay per view. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't really deserve to be here, so I'm just gonna fucking play it loose and dance with what brung me."
Yep. Yeah, Cameron Grimes feels like me at the first day at the new Y Rec Center. Meeting the crew, playing at least a game, and I'm like, I don't know how these people play yet, but we're gonna certainly fucking try. Uh, yeah, this
Yeah,
match is good.
it was a good match. They hit a bunch of moves as you would expect. Grimes caught Lee. Oh, Grimes out of nowhere caught Lee with a running Spanish fly for a near fall. He followed up with a moonsault off the top to the floor, where he took off Dijakovic with a double stomp on the apron. This is where he was running wild. He leapt off the top rope, only for Lee to chop him out of the air, and his kicks had no effect. Lee hit a pop-up powerbomb to score the pinfall. Lee stood tall to close the show. And, it's an interesting decision to make. I think this was for TakeOver Portland, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
I mean it can't not be.
actually
That'd be weird.
they don't have the decision to make then because Worlds Collide will come first. But I think this is going to be the first crack in the armor for the Undisputed Era. I think Keith Lee's getting the title.
Yep.
They're pushing him hard, and I've been wrong before. It depends on what they want to do, but I feel like they were contemplating putting him in the title match for Portland, but like we don't want to beat Keith Lee, but we also don't quite want him to be champion yet, or NXT champion yet. So we'll give him the North American title.
And though it's not on the horizon, there's nothing that seems very obvious. This is just your friendly general reminder, because there is a takeover coming up soon, that it is never too early to see a fucking match of the year, to see our five and a half and a 6-star fucking match out of nowhere. I don't know who that might be, if it's going to be anyone, but
I mean,
remember that
I think that main event of Worlds Collide, that Imperium Undisputed Era match, I think that's a
there's a
sleeper hit
potential.
because
Yep.
atmosphere alone, atmosphere does a lot for a match, and this has that first Wyatt family Shield match energy about it. Like this,
Yeah.
it's special. It's something you thought you wouldn't see. I don't watch a lot of NXT UK, but I know that Imperium's been tearing it up over there. And I obviously follow the Undisputed Era very closely.
Adam Cole versus Walter. Yes, please.
I am how you say a mark. But yeah, that will be big. And that takeover is coming up in February. So we have a little bit. Royal Rumble weekend is coming up. We'll probably watch the Royal Rumble. I don't know if we'll review it. It depends on if the show sucks or not. If the show is bad, but like not so bad that I feel the need to vent about it for an hour,
Or
probably we'll skip it over. But if it is that bad, or if it's good, and I feel the need to be like, WWE put on a good show, we'll talk about it then too. That plus Wrestle Kingdom and Takeover Blackpool 2. Lots of stuff in the pipeline, so get subscribed if you aren't, and make sure you hit that bell icon to, hedge your bets against the YouTube algorithm. And thanks for watching. Stick around. Be well, stay safe, and grapple like it's 1995.
Peace.
Bye.
Cool.